One. Hi, Malia.
Hi, Deanna. Hi.
How are
How,
you?
how are you?
Doing great.
I
Doing
yeah,
great. Yes.
I'm doing great as well. Just kind
Oh,
of um just trying to kind of have a moment of relaxation in a busy day.
no, it's the end of the day here, kind of for both of us, right? Um, I know we're an hour apart, but things start to settle down right here, right now, I guess. And so I'm like trying to make room for new things, new opportunities, and let's
Yes,
see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. So, but we
I'm
wanted to,
excited.
I know
Always great to have new opportunities.
it is actually. So, what are we going to talk about today?
So today, we were going to talk about kind of the wisdom that comes with getting older,
Ah,
you
yes,
know.
I love that. I know we talked about it, I talk about this a lot with my kids about how we have different seasons in our lives. And
Yes.
essentially, the goal is to always not necessarily be, yes, changing, but bettering ourselves, trying to
Yeah.
be more aware of how we interact with people in our relationships. And it's interesting because now I think I we talked when I turned, I don't know, mid 40s. That was several years ago. And my 40s were a big growth year for me. My
Yeah.
50s are definitely a little more interesting, but
Yeah.
um, but I've been really happy getting older. I'm really
Yeah.
starting to embrace it, I think. And I
Yeah.
remember being 20 and being, oh my God, my mom is 50. That is so old. She was
Yeah.
30 years older than me. And yeah, you just think that, you're just like, gosh, she's so old. Now I'm there and I'm like, gosh, I don't feel old. I feel so young.
Mm. I know. I also feel young, except for again, those occasional gray hairs.
No,
Let me
they're all
know.
right here.
You know, 20 no more. But yeah, I hear you. I mean, I feel a lot more comfortable with who I am as I get older,
Hmm.
accepting myself, um, getting to see, the good parts and some of the not so good parts, but at least
Yeah.
also meeting those with acceptance, I feel like is a huge great part. Statistically speaking, people generally, even in different parts of the world, do get happier as they get older, like a lot older, where, right, maybe when you're younger, you're like chasing material possessions or you're so comparing yourself to other people.
Hmm.
And, you know, as people get older, it's also sometimes like, wow, do I get to be alive another day? Like,
Yeah.
what a gift.
That's,
And like,
yeah,
you know,
it's
I
true.
at 20, I was like, oh, if only I could get my thighs a little like thinner, like you just kind of let go a bit of some of those other pursuits.
Yeah. It's so true. I just had a conversation with a really good friend of mine, and um, kind of going through this looking for work situation. And those of everybody that knows me knows that I've been actively looking for work for the last several months. And there was a job opportunity that came up, and it didn't really pay a lot of money, but it would be
Yeah.
really um, family. It's more family oriented. So there may be
Yeah.
a possibility I could take my kid with me to an event, or he could help
Yeah.
me do, certain things at the office. And it was just more allowing that relationship, that child kind of to be there. And she was like, sometimes it's not always about chasing the money anymore. And it's true. It
Yeah.
resonates with me now.
Yeah.
Where I sit there, and that's where we are kind of geared to move toward the money, the benefits, the 401k package, this, that. But then you get to a certain age and you're like, at what cost? At least for me, at least for
Agreed.
me, at
Agreed. I
least for
mean, I
me.
think as we get older, I mean, I just think, right, our time left is less. And just by the nature of it being a little less, it's more valuable.
Mhm.
Like, I
Yeah.
used to think that, or when I was in law school, I knew this woman that took this crazy job where she was going to have to work a ton of hours, like just, a nightmare number of hours, but she got this really great white Mercedes. And I remember I was like, mid 20s. And I thought, wow, like, I don't care how miserable it was. If I could get a beautiful white Mercedes, like, oh, I'd have it made. And now being older, it's like, if you're miserable, no high ticket purchase. Sorry, I
Yep.
did a bug flying in my mouth.
Oh
Yeah, really
gosh.
heating outside. But yeah,
That's
no high ticket item is really ever gonna make you think, wow, like it's so worth it. I just don't now, like my time is too precious to.
I agree with you. And I think that there's a few factors that kind of help us to get to that point. Because that's not necessarily for everybody, right? You and I are very
Yeah.
alike in that for us, kind of having that family time, kind of being
Yes.
around those that we love and care about, and really, really working on those relationships, right? Building
Yeah.
those relationships. And I think I came into that. I've always had that, but I think I really came into it like my mid 30s. And
Yeah.
I'll say when I was mid 30s, that's when I lost my mom. And you almost have like a responsibility or a sense of responsibility. I'm not saying you get the baton passed to you, but it's almost like
Yeah.
this sense of responsibility that you take on as the oldest woman in the family kind of
Yeah.
role, right? And in
Yeah.
that, I really had to do a lot of reflection on what that means. What does that
Yeah.
mean, right, for me? And for me, what it meant was to slow down at work and
Yeah.
to make more time for my family and to really work at those relationships that were important, not only to me, but to my mom. And maybe there was some disconnection, but maybe reconnecting those relationships. And I found that
That's
into my
beautiful.
40s that that's what I started to really focus on. But my 40s was also a time of reflection where you start to feel okay with not being invited to everything. These kids
Yeah.
have FOMO. They call it FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. And my
Yeah.
husband and I, we call it JOMO, the joy of missing out.
Yeah. Yeah. I really will admit I had the world's worst FOMO. Like I just
Yeah.
thought something great was going on at every moment and I just
Yes.
want to be there.
Yep.
And now as I get older, which, very stereotypical, but very true for me, like, I don't care. There's probably nothing better. Like, nothing should probably, give most people more joy than to get to be in part with their families and their loved ones and their close friends and not necessarily have to be at, you know, some event or some special thing. A night at
Right.
home with good popcorn can also be a great night.
Oh, yeah. Those are the best. Those are the best.
Yeah.
So I think kind of, thinking back and, what do we want everyone to walk away from, right? In this little conversation. For me, I think I'd have to say that really take some time to reflect in your life and see what is important. And for some of you, it may
Yep.
be working, 80 hours a week, and that's okay. But for others, it may be in line with kind of you and me, where it's more time to take in. And I learned a great lesson at a museum several weeks back where it's called slow looking. And you
Yeah.
go and you slow look at a piece of art, right? At a work of
Yeah.
art, and you look at the detail and
Yes.
just soak it all in. And so I'd like to say that that's kind of what I'm doing now over the last few weeks is just slow
Yeah.
looking at those relationships or those opportunities that I have in life and not
Yeah.
being so quick to judge, not being
Yeah.
so quick to react, not being so quick to respond. Really
Yeah.
just a moment of reflection. And I think that's where I am. That's my
I
part of it.
It's kismet. That's why I was like shaking my head, but I was like, this whole week I'd first been talking with a friend about slow rituals. And I thought then we were talking about kind of, I'd been watching this feudal Japan shogun
Yeah.
where it's like, in Japan, there's very much about the slow ritual. We're going to wipe your cup this way. And it's like, it's very comforting to have that slowness, right, with a ritual. So we were just talking about that. So then at first I was seeing the slow ritual. Then I was seeing today about it's taking over where people can just run slowly because you still get some of the good cardio effects. So and then we're talking about slow food, which was like a in Italian culture, right? The idea of like really artisanal made food, right? But it's
Hmm.
made slowly with all
Yeah.
of this love. And I really think, there can be a real, I feel like a lot of sacredness in the slow nature. Like, because part of my FOMO was, right, if you got crazy FOMO, you got to run from thing to thing because you don't want to miss the
You
amazing
don't want to
thing.
miss it. That's right.
I
You
didn't want to
don't.
miss it. So I got to run, 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 run. And so I feel like that's also part of getting older is like trying purposefully to slow down, whether it's like you're mentioning, right, of the slow looking, or if it is just even things that I might do in my everyday, like take a bath, like maybe slow
Yes.
down a little bit, not just like I gotta shave my legs and then I'm gonna run at the next thing, but to really like take a moment to really, like we've talked about, just taking the momentary pause.
Yeah.
I just
It's
think
worth
that's
it.
just such a part of like slowing down because if you slow down, I feel like you're better able to savor what you're experiencing
Yeah.
rather than just, run, run, run.
That is
Would
so
you want to
true.
take us through the quiet pause?
Yes, I do. Our time here goes by so fast. So we really hope that, you guys would probably think that we planned the whole slow looking, slow talking. We don't plan it. These are just two
That's the
friends.
nature of here to bloom. You never
These are
know where the lotus is just going to pop right up,
just gonna pop right out. It just happens to us. Just two friends chatting. And look at
Yes.
that. We're talking about the same thing. It's just amazing how it all comes full circle for us always.
Yeah.
So,
Always. The
yeah.
theme of my week already was slow.
Oh
I'll
my
like
God.
I literally will send you some articles like of just different concepts again of kind of the slow,
Yeah. There's a lot of value in it. So, if anything, if anybody walks away with anything today, it's that kind of the slow looking, the slow pausing, just the slowness to soak it all in, whether it's the experience or the conversation or material or, an
Yeah.
action, whatever. I mean, that's really kind of the basis of it to just kind of slow it down and soak it in and see what that does for your mind, your body, and your spirit, really, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so we're going to take a quiet pause, which we like to do. If this is your first pause of the day, we want you all to enjoy it, even if it's your 100th pause of the day. So I just invite you to close your eyes or look down, whatever is more comfortable for you. Place your hand on your heart, or if you want to put them in front, palm to palm, whatever's comfortable for you. And I just want you to take a moment to thank yourself for something specific today, whatever that is. Thank you all so much. I want to bring you back. And it's that quick, right, Malia? So
Yeah.
thank you all for
Yeah.
joining.
Thank you.
We
We're
really
here to
appreciate it.
bloom.
Yeah, here to
Thank
bloom.
you.
Y'all
Thank
take
you,
care.
Deanna.
Yes,
I
we'll see y'all
appreciate you.
soon. Bye.
Bye.